6 years back, when my boy Liam came screaming into the world, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. Man, I was 28 fresh off, marrying my high school sweetheart, Jess, who was 27 then, and life felt like a damn dream. Holding him that first time, his tiny fists flailing, his cries piercing the sterile hospital air, I was drowning in this tidal wave of love, pride, terror, every dad emotion you can name. I whispered to him, right there in that dimly lit room. I'm gonna be your rock, kid, the best damn father you'll ever know. And I meant it, carved it into my soul. For years, I believed I was living up to that vow up at dawn for his bottles, cheering his wobbly first steps, reading him goodnight, moon, till my voice gave out. But then, Reddit fam, the cracks started showing, slow and insidious, like termites chewing through the foundation of my perfect little life. It hit me subtle at first, just these nagging little whispers I couldn't shake. Liam was 3, maybe 4. When I started clocking it, he didn't look a damn thing like me. Not his sandy curls that glinted gold in the sun. Not those deep brown eyes that seemed to hold secrets. I couldn't read, not even the sharp cut of his jaw. I've got jet black hair, green eyes, a broad face. None of it was there in him. I'd stare at him playing with his toy trucks, crashing them into each other with that wild giggle, and think, babies change, right? He'll grow into me. But the years ticked by, and he didn't. By 5, his features sharpened, and it was like staring at a stranger wearing my son's smile. People noticed too. Oh, they loved to point it out. Wow, Liam's got such a unique look, huh? Must be all Jess's side, they'd say with these polite little laughs, and I'd grin, nod, choke down the unease bubbling in my gut like bad whiskey. One night I couldn't hold it in anymore. I was 34 by then. Jess was 33, and we're sitting at the dinner table. Liam smearing mashed potatoes across his plate like it's finger paint. I forced a chuckle, trying to keep it light. Hey babe, you ever think Liam doesn't look like me at all? Jess didn't even glance up, just kept slicing his chicken into bite-sized chunks. What are you talking about? She mumbled, her tone flat, distracted. I mean, his hair, his eyes, the whole vibe. Don't you think it's weird? I pressed, my voice tighter than I meant it to be. She sighed, loud and sharp, dropping her fork with a clatter. Logan, not this again. And there it was, that edge in her voice, like I'd just accused her of grand theft. So you have thought about it? I shot back, heart thudding. She shook her head, eyes narrowing. No, 'cause it's ridiculous. Genetics are a crapshoot, okay? Want me to pull out pics of my great-uncle Tony or something? Her dismissal was a slap quick and stinging, and I wanted to drop it. I swear I did. But it wasn't just Liam's face, it was her. The way she shut me down like I was some paranoid nutcase. For a while, I let it slide, buried it under late-night beers and overtime at the garage. But Jess's behavior started lighting up red flags, like a damn 4th of July parade. She'd say she was stuck late at her marketing gig, but the math never added up. Left at 5, home by 9 with no traffic in sight. What took so long? I'd ask, casual as hell, leaning against the counter with a forced grin. Oh, traffic sucked. She'd wave off, or, stopped by Target, needed tampons. Always some half-assed excuse I couldn't quite poke holes in. Then it got weirder. She'd dodge me dropping by her office. No, don't come for lunch. It's chaos here. Short-staffed. I'm scarfing a granola bar in the break room. She'd ramble, and when I asked about her coworkers, it was radio silence. No names, no stories, just vague shrugs. It felt like she was building a wall, brick by sneaky brick, and I was the idiot too blind to see it. The real gut punch came at a friend's party. Jess's pal Claire, this wiry chick with a no BS vibe, pulled me aside, her face tight like she was about to puke. Logan, I hate saying this, but Jess was all over my fiancé Nick, she blurted, eyes darting like she was scared. Just over here from across the room. What? I croaked, beer halfway to my mouth. I didn't want to believe it either. Claire sighed, but she was blatant, touching his arm, laughing too loud, leaning in like she owned him. She knew what she was doing. My chest caved, a hot flush of rage and disbelief warring inside me. But when I confronted Jess later, she turned on the waterworks. I love you, Logan. You're my world. I don't know why I flirt sometimes. It's not 'cause I don't love you. And like a sucker, I bought it. Told myself flirting wasn't cheating, that she was flawed but not a traitor. Then she got pregnant again, and I latched onto this fragile, desperate hope. Maybe this kid would have my green eyes, my crooked nose, something to prove I wasn't losing my mind. I clung to it through every ultrasound, every late-night craving run, even as the doubts gnawed me raw. But when Mia was born last year, 34 now, Jess 33, I held her, this tiny, perfect thing, and the hope shattered like cheap glass. She was gorgeous, multi-ethnic features, so clear there was no denying it. Dark curls, warm brown skin, nothing of my pale Irish ass in her. I stood there, cradling her in that hospital room, and a cold, hollow numbness swallowed me whole, love curdling into something dark and unrecognizable. Logan, please, just sign the birth certificate. Let's not make this a thing, Jess whispered, her voice low, eyes flicking around like someone might catch us. I stared at her. Every suspicion, every lie, every dodged question crashing down like a tidal wave. Not this time, I said, voice ice cold, steady. I want a paternity test for both kids, now. Her face went white, no tears, no excuses, just this stark, silent panic. And I knew Reddit. I knew I'd been living a lie, and the truth was about to blow my world to hell. The air in that hospital room hung heavy, thick like smoke off a dying fire. As I stood there, Mia cradled in my arms, her tiny breath soft against my chest. Jess's whisper, just sign it. Logan, don't make it a thing, echoed in my skull, sharp as a flint arrow, and I felt the ground shift beneath me, like the earth cracking open after too long a drought. My voice came low, steady, cold as river stone. Not this time. I want the truth. Jess, a paternity test. For Liam too. And her face drained pale, eyes wide, like a deer caught in the hunter's gaze. She didn't fight, didn't cry, just stood there, silent, and that silence screamed louder than any lie she'd ever spun. Reddit fam. It was the quiet of a woman who knew the game was up. The wait for those results stretched long, endless, a trail of days that wound through my mind like a river carving a canyon. I'd pace the floor of my buddy Nate's apartment couch, my only bed now. Duffel bag slumped in the corner, my boots thumping against the hardwood, each step a drumbeat of dread. Liam's face haunted me, those sandy curls bouncing as he'd run to me. Daddy, catch me! And I'd scoop him up, laughing, thinking he was mine, my blood, my heart. Now Mia's dark curls joined the ghosts, her warm brown skin a mirror I couldn't unsee, and I'd sit there, hands shaking, whiskey burning my throat, wondering how deep this wound would cut. Jess called once, twice, her voice small over the line. Logan, can we talk? But I'd hang up, quick, sharp, no words, 'cause what was there to say when the earth you'd built your life on was crumbling? The envelope came on a gray morning, rain tapping the window like spirits knocking, and I tore it open, fingers clumsy, heart pounding like a war drum. 2 sheets, 2 truths, stark and black against the white. Liam, not mine. Mia, not mine. The words hit like a thunderclap, splitting me open, and I sank to the floor, the paper slipping from my hands, my breath ragged, torn, 6 years with Liam, 1 with Mia. Every hug, every bedtime story, every scraped knee I'd kissed, it was all a lie. A shadow dance I'd played with a woman who'd carved me hollow. I didn't cry, not then. Just sat there, numb, the rain outside singing a song I couldn't hear. My world unmade. I filed for divorce that day, walked into the lawyer's office with my jaw set, my chest a storm of rage and grief. "Get me out now," I told him, voice rough like gravel underfoot. Jess didn't fight it. Not at first. Just signed where she had to, her eyes darting away. But I knew leaving would gut Liam. He was 6 now, old enough to feel the cracks, too young to understand the why. I'd been his everything, his dawn and dusk, there for his first words, dada, his first tumble off the tricycle, his preschool plays, where I'd clap loudest. Now, when I thought of him, my stomach twisted. Not 'cause of him, he was pure, innocent, a star in this dark mess, but 'cause of Jess, her betrayal a poison seeping into every memory I'd held sacred. She wielded him like a blade, sharp and cruel. After I moved out, the calls started, late at night, his little voice trembling through the phone. "Daddy, come home, please. Mommy says you're mad, but you'll come back. You always do." And it'd rip me apart, my chest tight, my throat burning. I'd grip the receiver, wanting to howl, to tell him, "Buddy, it's not you, it's her. She broke us." But how do you say that to a kid who still sees you as his whole sky? One night, she marched him into the living room as I packed my last box. His hand swallowed in hers, his big brown eyes swimming with tears, locked on me like I was abandoning him to the wolves. Jess knelt beside him, her grip tight on his shoulders, her voice a hiss. "Look at him, Logan. Look what you're doing to your son." And something snapped. A dam bursting wide. "He's not my son, Jess, and you made damn sure of that." I roared, the words tearing out raw, jagged, my hands shaking as I slung the box over my shoulder. Liam sobbed, a sound that clawed at my soul, and I turned away, couldn't bear it, the weight of his pain crushing me, even as I stormed out. The door slammed, final, a thunder in the quiet, and I stumbled to my truck, rain soaking me through, my breath hitching. I'd been his father, 6 years of my spirit woven into his, and she'd torched it, left me reeling in the ashes. The fallout spread quick, whispers through our circle like wind through the pines. Some saw me as the monster. "How could you leave him, Logan?" They'd sneer, not seeing the knife Jess had plunged into my back. My parents stood firm, my rock, my elders. "You've borne too much, son. Her lies don't define you," Dad said, his voice steady as oak. But my sister, Kate, she turned cold. "You raised him, Logan. He loves you. You're abandoning him." She spat over the phone, her words a lash. "And what about me, Kate? Do I just eat this betrayal? Choke it down 'cause he's a kid?" I fired back, voice low, trembling. "You're a man. Suck it up," she snapped. And I laughed, bitter, dark. "Nah, for once, I'm not the one bending." I sat Liam down the night before I left for good. His room a shrine of our year's stuffed dinosaur clutched tight. His small frame curled on the bed. "Why you leaving, Daddy?" he asked, voice fragile, eyes searching mine. I knelt, level with him, my heart a bruised thing. "Your mom wasn't honest, buddy. I thought I was your real dad, but I'm not," I said. Slow, careful, the truth, a heavy stone between us. "But you are my dad," he insisted, fierce. "You tuck me in, you make pancakes, that's what dads do." I swallowed hard, the ache splitting me wide. I loved every second of it. Liam, but she lied about our family. I gotta go, but listen this. Ain't your fault, never your fault. His brow furrowed, confusion clouding those brown eyes, and I hugged him, brief, fierce, knowing he'd never grasp it. Not yet. The night I left Liam sitting there, his dinosaur clutched like a lifeline, his small voice echoing, "You are my dad." I walked out into a rain that fell hard, relentless, like the sky itself was weeping for what I'd lost. My truck roared to life, tires biting gravel, and I drove, the road a black ribbon stretching into the dark, my chest hollowed out, a canyon carved by Jess's lies. I was 34 now, a man unmoored. The life I'd built 6 years with Liam, one with Mia scattered like ash on the wind. Reddit fam, that was the night the storm broke. Not just in the clouds above, but inside me, a tempest of rage and sorrow I couldn't outrun. I crashed at Nate's place, the city's hum a distant drum beyond his walls, my days blurring into nights on that lumpy couch. Work at the garage kept my hands busy, wrench on metal, grease under my nails, but my mind wandered, a restless hawk, circling the wreckage. Jess's voice haunted me, her pleas from the hospital, "Let's not make this a thing," and Liam's sobs, "Come home, Daddy," tangled with the paternity results, cold, hard proof that neither kid carried my blood. I'd see Mia's dark curls in my sleep, Liam's sandy ones in the daylight, and my gut would twist, not 'cause I hated them, never that, but 'cause Jess had woven this web, trapped me in it, and left me to bleed. She didn't let up. Nah, she turned the screws tighter, using Liam like a spear to pierce me deep. The calls came late, his voice trembling through the line. "Daddy, why'd you go?" "Mommy says you're just mad." And each word was a shard of glass, cutting fresh. I'd sit there, phone pressed to my ear, the city lights blinking like stars beyond Nate's window, wanting to scream, "It's her, buddy. She broke us," but I'd choke it down, whisper, "I love you, Liam. This ain't on you," and hang up, my hands shaking, my breath ragged. Jess knew what she was doing, wielding his innocence like a weapon, and it worked. Every call left me raw, a wound that wouldn't close. The divorce rolled on, a slow grind through legal muck, and I thought it'd be clean split the house. No kids to tie me to her, just freedom on the other side. But Jess played her cards dirty, showed up at Nate's one evening, Mia on her hip, Liam trailing behind, his eyes big, searching. "Logan, we need to talk," she said, voice soft, calculated, stepping into the apartment like she still owned me. I stood there, arms crossed, the air thick with her presence. "Ain't nothing left to say, Jess," I growled, low, steady. She set Mia down, knelt by Liam, her hands on his shoulders. "Tell Daddy how much you miss him," she cooed, and he looked up, tears brimming. "I miss you, Daddy. Please come back." And my heart cracked. A dry branch, snapping underfoot. I knelt too, eye level with him, my voice a riverbed, calm but deep. "I miss you too, buddy, more than you know. But Mommy wasn't true with me. I can't stay." And Jess's eyes flared, venom sparking. "You're breaking his heart. Logan, look at him. How can you do this?" She stood, towering, her words a whip, and I rose, slow, deliberate. "You broke it first. Jess, you made this mess, not me." I shot back, my voice rising, a thunder rolling through. Liam sobbed, Mia wailed, and Jess's face twisted. "You're a coward, walking away from your family." She spat, and I laughed. Sharp, bitter, family. You burn that down. I'm just stepping out of the ashes. She stormed off, kids in tow, Liam's cries fading down the hall, and I sank onto the couch, head in my hands, the weight of it all pressing down like a mountain. The storm kept raging. Friends turned on me. "You're a monster, Logan. Leaving that boy." They'd hiss, not seeing the betrayal that drove me out. My parents held me up, Mom's voice soft as a breeze. "You're not wrong to walk away, son. She stole your trust, but Kate, my sister," she cut deeper. "He's your son, in every way that matters. You're abandoning him, she snapped over the phone. Her judgment, a cold blade. And what about my heart, Kate? Do I just bury it, pretend it don't bleed? I fired back, voice trembling. She lied. She used me. I'm done swallowing that. I stopped paying child support. Alimony, none of it. Not a dime. 'Cause Jess didn't deserve it. Not after she'd trapped me in her deceit. Played me for a fool. The lawyer nodded. You've got a case, Logan. Fraud like this, it holds weight, and I felt a flicker of justice, small but fierce, like a spark catching dry grass. But Jess fought back, spun her tale to anyone who'd listen, neighbors, co-workers, our old crew painting me as the villain, the deadbeat dad, while she played the wounded mother. Liam's calls kept coming. Daddy, Mommy says you don't love me no more. And I'd choke. That's not true, buddy. Never true. But the words felt hollow, lost in the wind she'd stirred. One night, I broke, drove to the house. Our old house stood in the rain, watching the lights flicker inside. Liam's shadow moved past the window, small, fragile, and I wanted to run in, scoop him up, tell him I'd never leave. But the truth held me back, a chain forged in Jess's lies. I turned away, rain soaking my bones, and knew I had to cut deeper, sever it all, or I'd drown in this storm she'd unleashed. The rain that night clung to me, heavy as a shroud, as I stood outside that house, our old house, watching Liam's shadow dance past the window, a small flame flickering in the dark. My boots sank into the mud, the earth pulling at me, begging me to stay, to run inside and hold him, tell him I'd never leave. But the truth was a jagged stone in my chest, unyielding, cold. I was 34, a man torn loose from his moorings. And Jess had lit the fuse 6 years with Liam, one with Mia, all ash now, scattered by her deceit. Reddit fam, I turned from that window, climbed into my truck, and drove into the night, the storm inside me raging, a reckoning brewing like thunder over the plains. Days bled into weeks. My life a sparse camp at Nate's, the city's hum a distant chant beyond the walls. I'd hammer away at the garage, metal clanging under my hands, trying to drown the echoes. Liam's voice. Daddy, come home. Jess's hiss. You're breaking him. But they followed me, relentless, spirits of a past I couldn't bury. The divorce papers sat signed, a brittle piece, but Jess wouldn't let it lie, kept sending Liam's calls. His pleas a spear through my ribs. Mommy says you don't love me. And I'd grip the phone. Voice trembling. I do, buddy. Always will. But the line went dead, her shadow pulling him back. I stopped answering. Let the calls stack up 10, 20, 50, each one a wound I couldn't stitch. She showed up again, dusk painting the sky red, banging on Nate's door like a war drum. Mia squirming in her arms, Liam at her side, his eyes big, searching. Logan, we gotta talk, she demanded, stepping in uninvited, her presence a storm cloud rolling over my quiet. I stood tall, arms crossed, the air thick with her scent. Ain't nothing left, Jess, I said, voice low, steady as a river. She set Mia down, knelt by Liam, her hands tight on his shoulders. Tell Daddy you need him, she urged. And he looked up, tears spilling. I need you, Daddy, please. And my knees buckled, the weight of his innocence crushing me. Jess, stop this, I growled, stepping closer. You don't get to use him like this. Her eyes flashed, sharp as obsidian. You're the one leaving, Logan. You're the one tearing him apart. And she rose, voice a whip. How can you abandon your son? I laughed, raw, jagged. My son? You made sure he ain't mine. You and your lies. I'm done carrying your shame. Liam sobbed, Mia whimpered, and Jess's face twisted. You're heartless, walking away from him. She spat, and I roared. You broke my heart first, Jess. You don't get to play victim. She grabbed the kids, stormed out, Liam's cries fading into the dusk, and I sank to the floor, breath hitching, the storm breaking me wide. The world turned against me, whispers spreading like wildfire. Friends, neighbors. Logan's a deadbeat. Left that poor boy. They'd sneer, not seeing the knife Jess had plunged deep. My parents stood firm, Dad's voice a steady wind. You're not wrong, son. She stole your spirit. But Kate, my sister, she cut deeper. He's your kid in every way that counts. You're a coward, she hissed over the phone. Her words, a cold lash. And me, Kate. Do I just choke on this betrayal? Pretend it don't burn? I shot back, voice trembling. She used me. I'm done bending. She hung up. Silence her answer, and I sat there, whiskey in hand, the city lights flickering like distant fires. I cut all ties, no support, no alimony, nothing for Jess, 'cause she'd built this lie, trapped me in it, and I wouldn't pay for her sins. The lawyer nodded. Fraud's on your side. Logan, you're clear. And it felt like a small victory, a spark in the dark. But Jess spun her tale louder, painted me the monster, the man who'd abandoned his kids. One night, I drove past the house again, saw the for sale sign stabbed into the yard, and heard through Nate she was crashing with her sister, selling off pieces, the crib, the toys to keep afloat. Liam's calls stopped, the silence a heavy blanket, and I wondered if she'd finally let him go, or if she'd just found a new way to twist the knife. Then she came for me, real this time, showed up at the garage as I wiped grease from my hands, dusk settling over the lot like a bruise. Logan, she said, voice raw, stepping close. I can't do this without you. And her eyes were red, tears streaking, but I saw the game, the trap. You did it fine when you lied. Jess, I said, cold, steady, tossing the rag aside. I messed up. I know. I'm sorry, she pleaded, grabbing my arm, her grip weak, desperate. I need you, Logan. We can fix this. I pulled free, slow, deliberate. Fix what? The years you stole. The kids you swore were mine? She flinched, lip trembling. It was a mistake. I love you. And I laughed, short, hard. Love? You don't know the word. I can't lose you, she sobbed, voice breaking. Please, don't leave me like this. And I stepped back, boots firm on the earth. You lost me the second you chose that lie. Jess, you're alone now. Live with it. I climbed into my truck, engine growling, and pulled out, her figure shrinking in the mirror, tears falling, hands reaching like she could pull me back. I drove into the night, the road wide, dark, a promise whispering through the wind I was done, free. But the reckoning wasn't over. Not yet. The night I left Jess standing there, her tears streaking the dusk, her hands clawing at the air. I drove into a darkness that felt alive, vast, like the sky stretching over the plains after a long storm. My truck rumbled, the road unfurling ahead, a ribbon of earth whispering freedom. And I was 34, a man reborn from the ashes of 6 years with Liam, one with Mia, all torched by Jess's deceit. Reddit fam, that was the night I shed her weight, the lie that had bound me, but the healing dam, that was a trail I'd have to walk alone, step by heavy step. I found a new camp, a small apartment downtown, just 4 walls and a roof, no echoes of sage paint or cribs, just mine, raw, empty. I moved in with a duffel and a chair, set a mattress on the floor, and it felt right, like a lodge after a hunt, simple, unburdened. The garage kept my hands steady, hammer on steel, oil on my skin, each day a rhythm pulling me further from her shadow. Word drifted in, soft as leaves on the wind. Jess sold the house, crashed with her sister, pawned the last of our life to scrape by. Liam's calls stopped. Mia's cries faded. And I didn't chase the silence. Let it settle, a blanket over the wounds. The divorce came quick, a clean cut through the courthouse, gray and quiet like a winter dawn. I walked in, head high, 34 and unbowed. Saw Jess there with her folks, her mom thin as a reed, her dad a simmering coal, Jess small between them, pale, fragile. The judge's voice rumbled, "Mr. Hayes, you agree?" And I said, "Yes, sir, clear, strong. Miss S. Hayes?" Jess paused, a heartbeat, then nodded, "Yes, sir." And it was done. Stamp, stamp, freedom. No alimony, no strings. Just a year of her fading from my ledger. I turned to go, but her dad, Carl, charged me in the hall, face red, twisted. "You ruined her. Logan, you bastard," he bellowed, fists flying wild. I sidestepped, calm, steady, let him stumble, then swung one clean shot, his jaw cracking under my knuckles, and he dropped, a felled tree on the tile. The hall froze, a dead hush, Jess gasping, her mom clutching her chest, and I met Jess's eyes, cold, unflinching. "That's the last of your mess I'll clean up," I said, voice a low wind, then walked out, boots echoing, the doors swinging shut like a final drumbeat. The air outside was sharp, the sky wide blue, and I breathed deep, tasting peace, tasting me. Time flowed on, slow as a river finding its course, and I rebuilt, brick by brick, a new home, a new rhythm, a quiet that didn't ache. Nate dropped by one night, months later, beers in hand. "Jess is still struggling, man, house gone, bunking with her sis," he said, grinning like it was gossip I'd savor. I shrugged, sipping slow, her trail, not mine, and he leaned in. "You ever think about Liam, what he's going through?" I set the bottle down, eyes on the city lights. "Not anymore. He's her story now. I chose my path." He nodded, didn't push, and we drank in silence. The bars hum a soft chant around us. I didn't regret it leaving, cutting him loose, walking free. Sometimes I'd wonder why I'd stayed so long, let Jess and her kin chip away till I was raw. But that was buried, a scar I didn't touch. One morning, deep in my new life, I was at the gym, pounding the bag, sweat dripping like rain, when Nate rolled up. "Saw Jess last week. She's a ghost, thin, quiet, fading fast," he said, half laughing. I kept swinging, fists thudding. Her fight, not mine. And he clapped my shoulder. "You're cold, Logan, but I get it." I paused, wiping my brow. "Not cold, brother, just healed," and went back to the bag. Each punch a heartbeat, a song of a man who'd found his ground. Jess's world kept crumbling. From what I heard, house sold, cash gone, her lover a whisper she couldn't shake. Her family stepped back, tired of her chaos, and she was out there, alone, reaping the harvest of her lies. Me, I kept moving. Apartment became a home, work became purpose, life became solid, mine, untainted. No big clash, no tearful reunion, just steady steps into a dawn I'd earned. Liam's face lingered, those sandy curls, that wild giggle, and I'd feel a pang, not hate, never hate, but a deep, quiet sorrow for a boy caught in her storm. A year passed, no contact, no echoes, and I left the city, blocked Jess from every thread phone, socials, all of it built a new lodge, far from her reach. The silence should have brought peace, but the anger lingered, a smoldering coal, 'cause she'd killed what I had with Liam, took something pure, and shattered it with her greed. Nights I'd wake, thinking I heard his voice, "Daddy, don't go," and I'd see his eyes, desperate, clinging, but reality would crash in. He wasn't mine, never was, just a dream I'd held too tight. I told Dad once, over the phone, "The rage won't leave. It's there, under my skin, and he said, voice gentle as a stream, let it go, Logan. It's chaining you to her still. And I sighed, I'm trying, Dad, but I lost more than a wife. I lost a son. He paused. You lost a son you thought was yours, and that's a different grief. You gave him love. That's yours forever. Let her carry the sin. He was right. Healing wasn't quick, but it was coming, slow as spring after a hard winter, and I'd get there, I knew it, step by steady step. In the end, walking away wasn't fleeing, it was standing tall, claiming my spirit, leaving Jess to face the wind she'd sown. The echo of my boots on that courthouse floor stayed with me, a song of freedom, of peace, of a man who'd walked through fire and found his way home.